I want to spend a few minutes talking about something that a lot of you Salesforce customers probably have on your radar and have been dealing with, which is customers that have adopted or are considering adopting enhanced support and or security from Salesforce. And so what I'm talking about is success plans, and I'm talking about Shield or some of the pieces, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, the real topic here for me and working with our clients and our customers is the licensing metric. You hear me talk about this all the time. Agent force, consumption-based, right? There's per user, per month. There's all these different metrics. Commerce Cloud is based on GMV rate. So for Salesforce, these two products that I just mentioned, I'm going to go deeper in a minute, are percentage of net licensing metrics. So the percentage of the net spend tied to the products, to simplify. So let's dive in. So I mentioned success plans. There's really two. It's Premier or Signature, right? And there's differences relative to how much you get, but ultimately this is all about product education, support, health checks, right? A lot of customers signed up for that. So if you're a Premier, it's 30% of the net license fees. Okay, that's a big number, especially for customers that are applying Premier against many of their products, and maybe they have a big spend profile already. 30% of that is massive. Now, there's also Signature Success. So if you go to their website, it says, please contact your AE. I love to give away some insights here, but certainly there's a percentage associated with this as well. It's all can be negotiated. But the differences between Premier and Success, it really comes down to really three things. There's the CSM, the Customer Success Manager. There's the level of monitoring and key event management. And then there's the kind of response time. So for stopping business issues, under the Success Plan, Signature Success, 15 to 30 minutes response. Under Premier, an hour. All right, so those are the distinctions. I'm going to get into how to handle these negotiations and the importance of them in a second, but let's now talk about Shield, right? Shield is their security data encryption offering, right? So Shield, which is the suite of security offerings, is 30% of net spend. Again, another massive number, and if you're applying it to a lot of products, because it's 30% of the net, that number in that cost profile can get very expensive. Now, you can go a la carte, so you don't have to go all in suite. You can do event monitoring, which is 10% of the net. You can go field audit trail, which is 10%. You can go platform encryption, which is 20%. You can actually enhance your security platform, if you will, through things like Security Center, which is 10% of the net. It's not part of that suite. I was mentioning Shield Suite, it's not. And then there's Privacy Center, which is 15%. And that's also not part of the suite. So here's the thing. These are very expensive, right? Especially if you don't negotiate it properly, which I'll get to in a minute. But the other reason why this is very important for customers is customers who are looking at what they're spending their money on, right? If you think about it, the due diligence that I always speak about relative to your products, are you using and turning on all the features and capabilities? You should get that report together. Customers should do the same exact thing when it comes to success plans, whether you're Premier or Signature Success. Are you actually using everything, right? Are you getting the value that you expected? Arm yourself with that as you go into your negotiations. Similar with Shield, right? First and foremost, do you need all the pieces of that suite? Field audit trail, platform encryption, event monitoring. Do you need all of that? For you, those of you that jumped on to all the additional things, Privacy Center, Security Center, do you need those? Really get your house in order as you prepare yourself for your negotiation, whether it's at renewal or leading up to it. Now, here are the things you need to make sure of. Number one, obviously price cost. You got to negotiate down those percentages of net. Not easy, but you can do it if done correctly. That's why arming yourself ahead of time with what I just talked about becomes critically important. I would also force Salesforce and your account executive, although it could be straight math, to make sure the math is mathing. I would make sure you look at it and tell them, show me where does that line item Shield cost come from? How was it derived? What's the percentage? Make sure it's in my order form. But I also want to understand what products is it aligning to? How is it calculated? Do the same thing for Premier, do the same thing for Success, Signature Success relative to critically important. I call it issue 1B. Renewal protections. Again, you're going to have a renewal. If you want to renew any of your success plan that you chose, or shield, or one of the pieces to it, field trail audit, whatever, audit trail, doesn't matter. You need to push them to give you assurances on top of just defining what your percentage is. So you got Premier for 20% of net. You got Shield for 15% of net. Make sure that's in the order form. And then in the renewal protection where you cap the increase, make sure it's spelled out clearly what you're going to pay at your renewal for Premier or Signature Success or for Shield or for platform encryption. The point is, make sure it's clearly spelled out that you know not only what you're paying today, the percentage, how it's being derived, but what it's going to look like at your next renewal. And then lastly, as you pull together your holistic negotiation, because these are percentage of net products, make sure that you're fully applying this pressure onto Salesforce relative to when you pitch me a new product. There's a net cost, but if I'm maintaining a Signature Success or a Shield, there's a doubling of, or the not doubling, but an extreme additional cost profile that we need to account for in your proposal. So lower your cost for that new product, because I have to think about it as what you're going to also add on to it for my success plan, for my Shield, whatever it may be. Okay? I would also implore customers, as they put all their diligence together around how you're using the success plan or Shield, dive into the granulation of those products too, right? Because the product cost ultimately is going to drive what you're paying for your success plan or for your Shield or security suite or one of the components of it. So make sure you arm yourself with capability usage, things like that on the product, to also continue to work on the cost of the per unit price associated with that product, because it all goes hand in glove. The key to this whole thing is understanding information, driving your rep to give you what you need so you can be informed, and then negotiating based on value.